What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Reek Knows Hoops. I'm your host, Tyreek. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. This is a place where we talk all about NBA basketball, so if you love hoops, this is the place for you. And Ben Simmons has officially told the 76ers that he wants out. He wants to get traded. The writing has been on the wall since the end of the postseason, which Ben Simmons did underperform. And it's just about time to, move on from Ben Simmons if you're the 76ers. I think a move will be great for Ben Simmons in his career and the development of his game. So, with that being said, I think this opens up the door for realistic trade options for Ben Simmons to leave Philadelphia, because Daryl Morey and company in the Philly front office have been asking for a lot for Ben Simmons. I mean, there was one report that they wanted like 3 starters from the Raptors and a bunch of future first-round picks. There was another report that they were looking for like at least 4 first-round picks, a young all-star caliber player too, and another role player to go in a Ben Simmons trade, which is just pretty unrealistic, especially when his value is at an all-time low right now. And I think a trade, like with him pretty much requesting a trade, saying that he wants out, this lessens the leverage that they might have had before, given that, he's determined to not show up to training camp. So, a 76er team without Ben Simmons on the floor this season would not look very good if you don't get anything in return for him. If Ben Simmons just sits out, Philly's not going to be as near as good as a team as they were last year. So, now I think it's a smart time for the 76ers actually looking to make it a smart move instead of trying to get over on other teams. Like, this is not NBA 2K. You can't, finesse teams for, a bunch of assets like you might be able to do in a video game. But, it's crazy how we've come from potentially Ben Simmons being involved in the James Harden trade to, teams just not seeing his value that high anymore. So I decided today we can look at a trade article by a 76ers news source and, just talk about some of these potential trades, because I like to see what other people's insights are. I've given a bunch of trade destinations on Ben Simmons in previous videos, so I don't want to spew out my own ideas too much. I want to look at some other people's thoughts. So let's get into it. I've been wanting to do more reaction videos. Well, this is pretty much my first one. Like, looking at another news source on the screen. I want to do some more with like highlights and stuff like that too. If you guys would be interested in that, let me know in the comments. But yeah, this article titled Ben Simmons Trade Roundtable Pitching Our Best Sixers Trades. This is by Christopher Klein. This is from the SixerSense.com, so a Philadelphia 76ers news website. So shout out to them. And this is the best article I could find, because all the other ones I looked at were from like a month ago, and a lot of the trades aren't even possible now, because one involved like Kemba Walker, and it was when he was in OKC, but now obviously he's not an OKC Thunder player anymore. He's with the Knicks, so a lot of those articles are outdated. So this one's from one day ago, so I think this should have some decent trades in it. So let's look at the very first trade. Okay, a 3-team deal. This one is by Jonathan Gibe, so this is, multiple person article. 76ers would receive Aaron Gordon and Monte Morris from the Denver Nuggets. OKC is a part of this 3-team trade. They would get Ben Simmons, and then Derek Favors and Jaden Springer would go to Denver. Jaden Springer is a rookie player from the 76ers, and Derek Favors is a vet who just got traded to OKC during the offseason. Surface level, well, the 76ers, they also get a 22 first-round pick, a 2024 first, and a 2024 second-round pick. Surface level, let's look at Philly. We'll talk about Philly first. Decent. I think this is a decent trade. I think Ben Simmons' value is not this low. You do get some picks in return, which I think is what elevates it a little more. But Monte Morris is a serviceable point guard. I'm not sure really how that really fixes the 76ers' woes. He is a little more of an offensive threat than Ben Simmons when it comes to outside shooting. But, I mean, other than that, you're losing the defensive Ben Simmons. You're losing more of the all-around play that Ben Simmons gives you. But I think you kind of make up with that with the Aaron Gordon addition. I think that's kind of intriguing. I'd like to see what some of the other trades look like. But this is like, okay, this is like if you can't really get anything for Ben Simmons and you're kind of having to settle for something like this. For the other teams, OKC, I think Ben Simmons going to OKC to play with Shea and a bunch of young talent, Darius Bazley, Pokasekshi. They got a lot of young talent in OKC. I don't know how that would fare for Josh Giddey, because he's a guard and he's a ball in his hands too. But you had a player like Ben Simmons, speeds up the timeline just a little bit. And I would be excited to see, because OKC's good at developing talent. And I would be interested to see if they can get Ben Simmons to, play well in their system and stuff. I think that would be an interesting move. And for the Nuggets, I don't know. I don't know why the Nuggets would do this, to be honest. They would also receive a future first-round pick, so that's maybe why you would do this trade. But I like what Aaron Gordon brings to the table, even though he didn't shoot the ball too well in the postseason. But I still like what he brings to the table. He's like the Paul Millsap kind of replacement. I would like to keep him around in Denver if I was the Nuggets, but, I don't really see them doing this trade, but it's still an interesting concept that they drew up here. All right, next one is involving the Sacramento Kings, which is a team that has been linked to Ben Simmons quite a few times this offseason. Let's see what they drew up here. Okay, the 76ers get Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield along with Damian Jones, while the Kings will get Ben Simmons and Jaden Springer is also involved in this trade. Surface level, this is not a bad trade package, honestly. I think for both sides. First off, let's talk about the 76ers viewpoint. Getting Tyrese Halliburton, I think he's such a sensational young player, obviously. He fell in the draft last year right into the Kings' lap, and he had a very good rookie season. Even though he was kind of in and out of the lineup, he dealt with a few injuries here and there. Had a very good rookie season. I think he's just going to be a very sound player overall. And then you get the shooting of Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield is a 40% three-point shooter. He's 40% pretty much every single year. I would really love that addition. And then Damian Jones would be another, big to add some depth. And for the Kings, man, I just think you get an all-star caliber talent to go along with De'Aaron Fox. I don't know how those two players would fit together on the court, but you're getting a guy in Ben Simmons that has, I believe, been All-NBA before. He's been an all-star multiple times. And you had the potential to unlock some really key facets to his game. Now, the downside is, you're losing Tyrese, so how does that really fit? But you do got Davion Mitchell still, so maybe that is kind of the Tyrese replacement. And, we'll see what you can get out of guys like Marvin Bagley. You still got Harrison Barnes. You still got Rashawn Holmes. You got a lot of good young talent on that roster. And the Kings, they just need sound, solid players, sound, good players. And I think Ben Simmons could be that for them. This is one of the two teams that has really been linked to Ben Simmons. But Ben is determined to get to a California team, and I don't think the Kings are on that list out of the three California teams that he wants to go to. I think the other two are in LA and then the Golden State Warriors. So, yeah, I doubt if the Kings are able to pull this one off, but I would actually be interested to see this. Speaking of the Golden State Warriors, the next trade involves the Warriors, and it's a 3-team deal. So, here's how they broke it down. Philly receives Tyrese. They get Buddy Hield. They also get Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. That is a pretty big return for Ben Simmons. While the Warriors will get Ben Simmons and they also get Marvin Bagley. And then the Kings will get Wiggins, Wiseman, and Shake Milton. Surface level. Let's just talk about this surface level. I'll talk about it for each team. I don't know if each team would really be wanting to do this trade. I think that's kind of a big return for Ben Simmons given where his value is. Even though you haven't seen Kuminga or Moses Moody play on the NBA level yet outside of Summer League, I think those two are going to be very sound players. I think Moses Moody can come in and contribute right away, and I think Jonathan Kuminga can learn, behind some guys in Philadelphia or, where he's at right now in Golden State. I think he's going to be a really good player too. And then, once again, you get Tyrese to get Buddy Hield. Those are two players that are going to come in day one and be ready to help you try and compete for, the championship. That's a big return for the Warriors. I keep seeing the Ben Simmons Warriors thing, and surface level, I've used that word a lot. I've used that phrase a lot this video. I don't understand it, man, because you still got Draymond Green, and that spacing just doesn't sound great. Now, it might be a little different because you're playing with the two best shooters of all time. That's why it might sound different. And then here, I'm guessing they're getting Marvin Bagley to play that 5 role, at least in the starting lineup potentially, to give the team a little more spacing because Marvin Bagley can space the floor a little bit. But dude got to stay on the court to even show us what he can do. I haven't seen Marvin Bagley play basketball in a very long time. So I couldn't really tell you what dude's good at right now because his one thing that he's not great at is staying on the court. But he is somebody that does need to change his scenery, and maybe the Golden State Warriors can help him get his career back on track. I do like that return for the Warriors. I still don't know how the Ben Simmons Draymond situation will fit, but you are talking about the best shooting backcourt in NBA history, so maybe it won't matter as much. And then the Kings, they get Wiggins, they get Wiseman, and Shake Milton. I think that's a good return for the Kings. Does that make them a team that might be competing for the playoff position? I don't know. We'll see how Wiggins plays. It is weird. You got Harrison Barnes there too. I'm not sure how those two would fit together. Maybe they'll fit well. James Wiseman, taking a flyer on a young guy. I do like that move right there. I think Wiseman can be a very good player. I just think the Warriors right now, they're trying to win so much. It's tough to help to develop him while still trying to be a competitive team. And then I really like Shake Milton, man. He's somebody that comes off your bench, can get buckets, can play with De'Aaron Fox. I like that move a lot. Honestly, this is a blockbuster type deal. If it were to happen, I think each team walks away feeling like they're in a better position than they were before the trade. Because Damian Lillard has been in trade talks all offseason, but I don't think that's going to happen. And this trade does not involve Damian Lillard. It's instead CJ McCollum. Once again, the Sacramento Kings are involved. Philly gets CJ McCollum and Tyrese Halliburton, so it seems like Tyrese is really linked to the 76ers according to this article. The Trailblazers, they'll get Buddy Hield, they'll get Marvin Bagley and Shake Milton. And then the Kings get Ben Simmons. They get CJ LB. LB? I don't know. Let's look at this trade on the surface. I think Philly walks away from this trade a little bit of a better team than what they were before that. Just thinking of this lineup right now, you can run Reese, you can run CJ McCollum. Matisse Thybulle can be the defensive stopper instead of Ben Simmons in that lineup. You still got Tobias Harris, and then you got Joel Embiid. That's a very good five. You got Seth Curry coming off your bench. You do lose Shake Milton, but you still got some other guys. Tyrese Maxey is still in there. You still got a good amount of talent. Danny Green that we didn't even mention. You got a lot of interchangeable pieces in there. For Portland, I think Portland walks away from this in a weird position if you're trying to win the championship. They just got not win a championship, but still be a competitive team. Because right now they're not a championship team, but they just got Larry Nance Jr., which I think was an amazing addition. And now you walk away, you'll get Buddy Hield back, you'll get Marvin Bagley and Shake Milton. I think that adds some much needed depth to this roster. I think Buddy Hield will fit nicely next to Dan because he doesn't need the ball in his hands, and you also get a guy like Shake Milton who could run the second unit on nights and be pretty effective there. And you're taking a flyer on Marvin Bagley. Maybe you can get the most out of him. And if you were to maybe trade Damian Lillard down the line, you have a young player, Marvin Bagley, who was a number 2 overall pick just a few years ago. And you could potentially build not around him, but build with him with some other pieces that you would get back in the Damian Lillard trade. And then the Kings linked to Ben Simmons again. I already mentioned how I feel like Ben Simmons would fit in Sacramento. And I think that would be a good move. Almost to the end here. This is the second to last trade, I believe. A team that has been in Ben Simmons talk, the Toronto Raptors. And once again, the Kings are involved in this trade too. So, very interesting. Philly gets Buddy Hield once again, and they also get Goran Dragic. And then the Raptors will get Marvin Bagley, and they'll also get Shake Milton. And then Ben Simmons will go to Sacramento. So, the Kings seem to be heavily involved in the in the Ben Simmons sweepstakes. I would like to see that happen. Toronto is kind of a youth movement up there, so you want to get rid of some older guys like a Goran Dragic. I don't hate that. You get back Marvin Bagley, I think every team that would potentially get a Marvin Bagley just wants to see what they can get out of him right now. And then you also get Shake Milton, just another younger guard to throw in with the guys that you already had, the Fred VanVleets, the Gary Trents, the Scotty Barnes of the world, the Malachi Flynn's. And then Philly, we already mentioned Buddy Hield being there would just be a very good fit to go alongside Joel Embiid and others. And then Goran Dragic, man, to play the point guard game for them. I don't hate this trade, more so for Philly. I think this is a pretty decent return. But compared to some of the other deals, if those were on the table, I think you could get a little more value. But maybe this is, on paper, not the best value, but maybe the most effective, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, Buddy Hield is going to come in and contribute, do what he does. And then also, Goran Dragic has shown that he's a big-time playoff performer. So, I like this deal really for all sides. I think a lot of these trades look like all teams walk away with what they want. And it's tough to draw up 3-team trades. So I applaud the guys that are writing this article because a lot of these look like they make sense on paper. I'm not a cap expert, so I don't know how the money matches up and stuff. But it looks on paper like each team walks away with what they want. And then this is the one that I want to see the most. This is the one I want to see the most. I was just asked by somebody where I think Ben Simmons would fit, and I said the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that would fit perfectly for Ben Simmons. This is a 3-team deal, though, so this is out of my realm of thought. Well, let's see what they got drawn up here. Philly will get Colin Sexton from the Cavaliers, Malik Beasley from the Timberwolves, and also Jaden McDaniels. Shake Milton and Isaiah Joe will go from Philly to Cleveland, and then the Timberwolves will get Ben Simmons. This is a little different from what I would think, from what I was thinking, but that's because I was only thinking between the two teams of Philadelphia and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And in that realm, I was thinking, Ben Simmons for like D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley, something along those lines. This has Philadelphia getting Colin Sexton, who I think could fit in pretty decently. I think he could fit in pretty decently in Philly. Malik Beasley, who is a shooter, can score, come off the bench and get buckets. And then Jaden McDaniels is a young player who has really great potential, and he's shown, on both sides of the floor that he has very good potential. On the surface for Philly, I think that this is a good move. Now, I'm thinking with Colin Sexton, like, he's a much more two guard instead of a point guard. Where does the playmaking come from in Philly? That's going to be something that's interesting to see, because we've seen this team without Ben Simmons on the floor, they lack playmaking severely. We've seen that in the bubble when Ben Simmons went down with an injury. They couldn't play make worth anything. So that's going to be kind of intriguing what they decide to do with that. Maybe there's another move down the line. We'll see. For Cleveland, this is simply shedding Colin Sexton. They will also receive a first-round pick in this trade, which is what we've seen. Philly will also receive, it looks like, 4 first-round picks. So Philly gets 4 first-round picks along with 3 solid players that they're getting in return. For Cleveland, this is simply like, we don't want to pay Colin Sexton the money that he is making right now, because he's a 25 point per game scoring guard on really good efficiency too. So they're like, we don't want to pay him. So ship him off to Philly. Philly can, use Colin Sexton a lot more than we can, because we believe in Darius Garland. And they also get a first-round pick in there that's top 5 protected. And then the Timberwolves, they get who they want, Ben Simmons. If you can get Ben Simmons and not have to give up D'Angelo Russell, you still got Anthony Edwards, you still got Karl Anthony Towns. I love that. I love that potential core. I really do. I think that takes the Timberwolves from bottom feeders to a team that, can make a playoff push. I really do. I think Ben Simmons is that much of a difference maker. You have a 5 in Karl Anthony Towns that is one of the best shooting bigs in NBA history. From the 5 spot, there's not very many people, if any, that shoot the ball better than Karl Anthony Towns. He's a legit 40% three-point shooter on high volume. You got Anthony Edwards, who has shown that he can score the ball, even though with volume, but having somebody with Ben Simmons help set him up a little more might, help his efficiency go up. And then D'Angelo Russell, a little down since he left Brooklyn, but still has a lot, of great basketball left in front of him, I believe. And getting somebody in Ben Simmons that fills in the gaps defensively, is going to help out a lot, help out with the playmaking, help a Karl Anthony Towns on the defensive side, help, the backcourt of Russell and Anthony Edwards on the defensive side. I like this a lot. I think out of all the moves, I really want to see Ben Simmons go to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that makes the most sense. And that's all the trades in this article, man. Let me know which trade you think would fit best or is most realistic or ones that you want to see. There's a couple. I would like to see Ben Simmons in Sacramento, but I would also really love to see him in Minnesota. I think that makes the most sense. I think Timberwolves fans deserve a player like Ben Simmons, because I think he could help change the tide in that franchise. I really do. So let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you like these reaction type videos, because I want to do a lot more of these, especially, with the off season still continuing. And we're going to get back to the What's Next series very soon. Probably tomorrow will be another one. So I appreciate y'all. Continue to support. I love all the support I've been getting. And I'll be back next time, y'all, with another one. Peace.